video, I'll be assembling the Z-Grill's 702 F2 pellet grill. If you ordered your Z-Grill pellet grill, everything you'll need for assembly will arrive in a single box and will be delivered via common carrier such as UPS or FedEx. While there is a simplified set of visual instructions for assembly, if you've never assembled this grill before, I do recommend unpacking all of the contents to find the full version of the assembly instructions. All of the pellet grills from Z-Grills are packed for shipping incredibly well, but you'll need to sort through all of the packaging materials to locate all of the parts. They even give you a pair of gloves inside the box so you don't get your hands dirty while you're putting this thing together. After you have separated all the parts from the box, the first part of the assembly is going to be making the base support. The base consists of 4 legs which are connected together with bracing plates. The first part of the base connects the front legs together, and the second half of the base is the rear legs. Take note that each leg is unique and it needs to be in the correct position. In the first part we have the left front and the right front, and in the second part we have the left rear and the right rear. I found that it's 100% easier to place the base upside down when connecting the front and the rear halves of the base. After the base is assembled, we need to attach the wheels. The swiveling casters are used on the left side of the grill, and the stationary wheels are located on the right side. The axle bolts for the wheels are not located in the hardware packet and should be in a smaller box with the chimney stack. In this box you'll also find the plastic caps for the wheel hubs. I tried to attach the wheel assembly as it's stated in the instructions, but I think I found an error. Here are all the parts for the wheel assembly. There is a wheel, axle, 2 flat washers, 1 lock washer, and a kept nut. Oh, and a plastic hubcap. The instructions want you to pass the axle through the wheel and then attach washer J, which has the larger inner diameter. Pass that axle through the leg, attach washer I, and then attach the lock washer and then the kept nut. If you follow these instructions, there really isn't enough length on the axle to connect the nut. If you forego the lock washer, there's enough length, but the wheel will bind up against washer J and it will not spin freely. The only way that I was able to get this to work was to reverse washer I and washer J. Washer I will stop at the axle shoulder, so it will not bind against the wheel, and washer J, the inner diameter is large enough to allow the lock washer to seat inside the inner diameter, thus giving the axle enough length to receive the kept nut. Once the base is completed with the wheels, you can set it on level ground and rest the barrel on the leg supports. There are 3 holes for each leg that you will need to pass screws through to join the barrel and the base. Fitting the base to the barrel immediately just seems wrong, as the 12 holes will not completely align if the base is not completely square, which it isn't until it's attached to the barrel. To square the base, you need to pass 1 screw per leg into each of the leg positions. Do not completely tighten them. After you have 1 screw in each leg, continue to go around and place an additional screw until you have made 2 more rounds so that each leg has 3 screws seated into the threads. Once all 12 screws are seated, you can then tighten them down. Remove the hinge screws from the barrel and fit the barrel lid through the hinges that are already attached on the lid. The handle for the 702 F2 and the 450B have a decorative polished plate that sits underneath the bezels of the handle. To fit this on, you want to lift the lid open so that it's level, and then lay the decorative plate on the lid over the handle mounting holes. Place the bezel over the hole of the decorative plate and then pass the mounting bolt through the lid and through the plate and into the handle. Before you tighten them down though, you want to make sure that the decorative plate is flush on each end or centered. Once you have that centered, then you can tighten down on the bolts for the handle. Be careful not to over tighten the bolts because this will cause the ends of the decorative plate to flare up off of the surface of the lid. The next part we want to assemble the hopper topper to the burner assembly. Place the hopper safely screen inside the hopper and then place the hopper topper on the outer flange around the edge. Seat the controller into the cutout on the hopper topper and align the safety screen so that the mounting holes correspond to the holes of the hopper topper. Pass each mounting screw through the top and the screen while holding the lock nut from the other side and then tighten them down. Next, you want to attach the handle to the rear of the hopper, and then you want to mount the dust cover inside the hopper. There are 2 holes on the back of the controller and there is 1 at the base of the hopper. Inside the grill, we need to fasten the RTD probe to its mount. Remove the 4 mounting bolts from the burner assembly and then pass the burner assembly into the barrel. Oops, and as you can see, I forgot to lock the casters on the grill and it almost got away from me. Alright, so those are locked. Now connect the RTD probe wires and then stuff the slack wire down into the burner assembly behind the heat shield. Push the burner assembly into the grill, and while holding the burner level, attach one of the mounting bolts to hold the burner in place so that you can fasten the other 3 bolts. Install your heat baffle in your drip pan. Install the cooking grid in the warming rack. Attach your chimney stack to the outside of the grill, and the gasket's going to go between the stack and the outside of the barrel. Attach your chimney cap to the chimney stack, and then you're done.